Thank you, Mr. President. I rise in favor of Amendment 248 to advance candidate safety and security. This amendment protects the safety and security of candidates for public office by removing home addresses from the ballots. Elections are among the most central pillars of our democracy. For our representative democracy to function at its core, we must have candidates. People who are not only willing to dedicate themselves to public service, but also to run for office. Candidacy comes with sacrifices. But a person's safety and security in their own home and the safety and security of their family should never have to be one of those sacrifices. This issue is not theoretical. Tragically, it is all too real. And it is not partisan. Political violence is on the rise across our nation, with the impacts felt across the political spectrum. Last year, a deranged gunman murdered Minnesota House of Representatives Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark Hortman, in their home. He killed the family dog, too. That same gunman also shot Minnesota State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette in their home. Yvette was shot 8 times as she shielded her daughter from the hail of bullets. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer was targeted by a fringe militia that planned to kidnap her from her own home. Former New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu canceled his outdoor inaugural ceremony in 2021 due to safety concerns after weeks of armed protesters gathering outside his house and trespassing on his property. Governor Charlie Baker, our former governor, was targeted at his home by protesters who dumped dirty needles on the sidewalk in front of his house, chained themselves to a boat that blocked his driveway, and even walked right inside his home. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu and her family endured aggressive and vitriolic protesters blowing whistles and air horns early in the morning for months on end. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked in their home. United States Congresswoman Angie Craig was assaulted when a man followed her into hers. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's residence was set on fire, with him and his family in it. These are just some of the examples of ongoing political violence in our nation. Domestic terror and plots against government targets and individuals have increased precipitously. In 2024, researchers at the Center for Strategic and International Studies found that the number of political attacks and threats of violence during the last 5 years was nearly triple the number in the previous 25 years combined. And that was before the 2024 general election, before several of the examples of political violence I just referenced. What's more, beyond these and other examples are countless threats that might not have come to fruition, but nonetheless aim to intimidate and instill fear. That fear is real. Threats of violence are a barrier to running for office, especially for women, people of color, members of the LGBTQ community, ethnic and religious minorities, people with families, and survivors of abuse. Anecdotally, I know this to be true. I've spoken with numerous would-be candidates, people who would be terrific legislators and other public servants, and they chose not to run because of the noted safety risks for themselves and their families. Here in Massachusetts, unfortunately, we are allowing this concern to perpetuate. State law currently requires all candidates for public office to list their full street addresses on ballots and nomination papers. This applies to candidates for federal, state, regional, and local office. ubiquitously and universally. That's not normal. Massachusetts is the only state in the entire nation that requires such personal information on such a public document. The overwhelming majority of states, 44 to be exact, list candidates' names and party affiliations, but no residential information whatsoever. Just 5 states list candidates' municipalities of residence: Kansas, Maine, Maryland, Vermont, and West Virginia. With this amendment, Massachusetts would join them. We may not be able to stop the hate that fuels acts of political violence, but we can use the tools at our disposal to mitigate the harm and the risk, and thereby also advance our democracy. Amendment 248, as redrafted, provides that a candidate's municipality of residence will appear on the ballot, but their full street address will not. Addresses will remain on nomination papers, but will be carefully protected from haphazard disclosure, thus advancing candidate safety, while also ensuring that residency requirements can go through the usual course of cross-checks and verification. It's important to note that this amendment, this change, will not help any of us already in office. Our addresses are already out there. But it will help the candidates and public servants who come up behind us, along with their families. It will help our representative democracy. And it is one of our most salient responsibilities to lift up the people who will come after us to sit in these seats and elected offices throughout the Commonwealth. I want to close by thanking our Senate President, our Chair of Ways and Means, their staffs, especially Matt Douglas, who is now on Team Ways and Means, but formerly of my own team in my office, my staff, especially Madeline McCormick and Clay Spivey, and the bipartisan group of colleagues who have co-sponsored this amendment, including especially Senator Oliveira, with whom I have been working on this policy for many months now. I hope this amendment to advance democracy and candidate safety is adopted. Thank you, Mr. President.